guys, and welcome back to another episode on Dunecraft. Today we're going to be working at the base once again, but we're not going to be doing a new build. This is more of a edit, kind of destroy and rebuild sort of thing. What I want to be working on is this castle wall. Now, I did this temporarily, and the idea was to go around and add details in once the actual main thing was built, but I don't like it. It's ugly and it's boring and it needs details, and I just don't like it. So we're gonna rip this whole thing out, probably section at a time, and get a new one built. And hopefully the design I've got in my head, hopefully it will work. It's gonna have towers quite regularly, just short ones, and then I'm gonna use the corners and build taller towers along that. So I need a flat section to start with first, so I'll probably maybe over here, I don't know, maybe over by the old pole, but I'm going to get working on that today, and hopefully we can get the whole thing done. I'm not quite sure if we'll get it all done because you know, it's quite a big area, but hopefully we can. I've got lots of resources here ready, probably need to go get a lot more, but I've got enough to get started with. Now, the other things that need doing is the storage room needs finishing, but I'm going to do that off camera between now and the next episode. That is going to either get done or, you know, partly done. I'm going to do that myself because we've done 2 episodes on this already, so I don't want to spend another full episode doing the same thing. So hopefully we can get that done. And then the other thing is we want the castle. And the castle is going to be in this area. I've started flattening it out a bit, but I do need to take a lot more of this mountain out. But it does need to be quite big, but I don't want it to be absolutely giant that it takes me weeks and weeks to do. Probably needs to be bigger than the storage units, because that castle should be the biggest build out of the base, but I don't want it to be like the whole size of the whole base. So this is what we're going to do at some point as well. So I think we need to get working now on the wall. So I'm going to find a section to do off camera and start that, and then we can do a little bit of building on camera later on. Once we've got it figured out how it's going to look and what the layout's going to be and things like that. So I'm going to go find a space and get started. Okay, so I've been working on one section of the wall. Over here is where I decided to go. Then I didn't have to mess with all the animals while I was figuring things out. This is the design I've got now. Now I did one section and then just kind of copied it over so I could see what it looks like in a line. I did want to just start with it. But this is what we've got so far. I've used pretty much all my resources. I've got a chest with a few more in, but I need to go gather a lot. Luckily, I've got the backup storage with a lot of stone and things in, but hopefully I've got a load of andesite in there as well, because this does use quite a lot of andesite, which is the first time I've been building with it this season. But I thought the polished andesite fits nicely with the theme, so I thought it just gives me another block to start working with. So this is what we've got. We've got the small sections here. The only other thing I was thinking about here was maybe changing this up a bit, take these 2 blocks out and put one of the banners in, but it looked a bit too much. There was a lot of banners on it, so I took them out and just put the same thing with the fences and the cobblestone walls. And then I just added the buttons in for a little bit extra detail. But I like the look of this. I added a few of the leaves in. I'm probably going to put sea lanterns underneath these to light it all up a little bit. And these towers are going to have some lights in as well. The only thing with this is it is quite narrow, but there's no reason for me to walk through the wall. So this kind of width, just having the 1 block, is all I need. Each of these towers I've just put a ladder up, and we've got the top floor, you can see, is wider, and then we've got the towers here. I've just put that there for now. I'm going to put sea lanterns in there. to give a bit of light. And then we've got the tall tower is just the same as these small ones, but I've extended it up. So this bottom section, come down, this bottom section I've doubled up on. So I've just done that twice and then built the same top on it, just a couple of blocks taller than this. So it fits in nicely. Now it is the same width as these, but because it's so tall, it makes it look a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, so it works nicely on the corner blocks. I just need to get underwater and build a support for that, so it's not just floating over the water. But this is the design I've got. So this now needs to be copied all the way around the base. So I'm going to do that, a little bit of that off camera on the flat sections, and then when I get to one of the hills, I'll pop back on recording and we can try and figure out how to get this over the hills together. So I'm going to go gather another load of resources, or grab another load of resources out of my extra storage. I probably have to make some more nether brick fences because I don't think I've got some here, but not much. I'll need to grab some more of them, but I've got plenty of nether brick so I can make some of that. So I'm going to go down into my overflow and grab lots of stone. Oh, what's going on? My computer's walking on its own. So anyway, there we go. Let's get down, get this, and then we can get some more of the wall built. Okay, so I've been working on this for a few hours now, and it's taken a bit longer than I thought it would because of these angle parts. I thought I'd work on one of these first just to see how it would fit, and this one little section here took me about an hour, but you can't really see it as well from inside here. I've put a few holes in like this so I can get through. If we go over here a little bit, you can see it a bit better. Let me see how far I've got now. So we've got from this corner all the way over to the archway done. That's one side, but this is the flattest area out of all the walls, so this was kind of the easiest. This section here is where it was on an angle, so instead of trying to find a way to make it like square, I've just used the same design from these sections and just extended it, so it is the same layout just on an angle for this section. And then over here, that's me pillaring up. Let's just get rid of this. Okay, then this section moves out very slightly. It's like 2 blocks that needed to go out here. So we just used the tower here and moved it back 1 block, and then again back 1 block. Yeah, that's it. Back 1 block here, and then back 1 block again here, just to line up nicely with the archway. Now the archway I'm going to edit at some point as well, but I'm going to leave that for today because I like the shape of it. I just need to add some of the details in we've got from here. So some of these sections in between, I'll probably do this cobblestone wall nether brick fence thing in here, and maybe add some andesite into it as well somewhere. But the next thing we need is over this section. So this is a bit of a tight area, so I was thinking here I might do the towers on these 2 corners here, but the taller towers that we've got over in the distance, so I might do them on these 2 corners here, and then walls on, obviously a wall in between, and then here, and then have one of the small towers on this section instead of a diagonal there. Just make it a small tower, and then this section's just completely straight all the way, so that's quite easy. But after that we get on to the difficult part of getting over these. So I spent a bit of time gathering resources, so I've got quite a bit now, but not enough to do the whole wall. So I'm going to get what I've got out of the chest and start working on this next section. Okay, so I've got a little bit more done on this section. I've not done too much because it took quite a bit longer than I thought, because this was kind of out by one block. This was kind of one over here, but luckily I hadn't kind of done the top bit up there, so I didn't have to move and rebuild the whole thing. So I'm just gonna get this wall done now, and it is actually getting a little bit easier, a little bit faster now. I don't have to look back into the previous sections quite as much. I'm kind of remembering where some things go, as long as I've got enough resources. Some of it is getting a bit difficult because I keep running low on resources in my inventory, so I'm running back into. I really need to bring some shulker boxes over, but I keep forgetting about them. But this section of wall now is going to be a little bit bigger. When I've got a straight section, the walls are kind of 7 blocks across between the towers, but when I've got a section like this where there's like 10, 12 blocks between where the towers need to be, between the corners, I thought I'll just make the actual wall longer instead of trying to figure out a different way to do it. But this is how much we've got done so far. Now, the problem with this is it takes quite a long time to do the whole thing. The walls are quite quick, it's the towers that take most of the time, and it's getting a bit late in the day now for me. It's well, it's coming on past 2 o'clock now, so I've only got an hour until I have to go and get the kids home. So that will be all the time I've got for playing today. So this will have to get finished tomorrow. Hopefully I can get a little bit done tonight when the kids are sleeping, and move a bit further around. Let me just... Okay, just need to count these sections. I need some more nether brick fences in here, like that. So this is the section. See, we've got now 6 of the nether brick fences in here instead of just 3, so it's like a double sized section of the wall. And the holes there, I've been putting kind of in random places around so I can get in and out instead of trying to make holes or make a like new section of the wall to make fences. I've just been cutting one of the nether brick fence sections out to make a small gap to get in and out. Got this up, get this finished. But yeah, hopefully it should be done soon. So I'm running a little bit low on time, like I said, so I'm going to try and get this section done, and then I'll do a bit more later on. Now, just why we're building this bit, I thought I'd fill you in on what happened this week. Now, anyone who's followed me on Twitter will probably have seen my freak out tweets. I logged on a few days ago and just was getting ready, just gathering resources and stuff, and logged out and everything was fine. Logged back in a few hours later and the base was gone. It was completely flat. So I had a little bit of a freak out. I did record a little bit so you can see it, so I will cut this here now and I will put that on just to show you how much damage got done, but luckily they managed to fix it. Okay, so just a quick clip to show you what happened at the base. Now, as you can see, everything was gone. This you can see the things underneath. The storage room was perfectly fine up there, and over a certain height was perfectly fine. They don't know whether it was a chunk error or what happened, but I just logged on and everything was gone. So I had a little bit of a freak out for about half an hour before one of the owners managed to get on and figure out how to fix it. Luckily, he has a backup of the server done, and he rolled back the server 24 hours, which fixed it. So it did take a couple of hours for it to be done, but this was just after I'd finished the church, I think was the last thing I did before this. So you can see the section around here was perfectly fine, but the whole main part of the base was completely wiped out. Now, it wasn't even just a square, it was kind of an L shape. If I get a minute, I will show you a screenshot that I did on Dunecraft. And as you can see there, where the sections have vanished, it's like an L shape. But yeah, luckily that has now all been fixed and we can carry on with the base. So I do apologise to anyone else who was building on the server in that 24 hours that got rolled back, because I know at least one person lost quite a lot of work they'd done that day, but unfortunately I needed my base back. So yeah, that's what happened. So let's get back on and get this wall finished. So, welcome back guys, we are now on day 2. Now, I've just been over and took out the sheep farm because I don't need it anymore. I just need to shove all this stuff in here. I don't really need it anymore. I very rarely use wool. So I think what I've got in the storage system should be enough if I do need it. If not, I've got a small field just behind that wall with some sheep in that I can just change colour when I need it. But this is the section I got done last night. It wasn't as much as I was hoping, but we got a couple more of the towers done here, and it goes up a little bit to this section in the corner here. So I think when you can see it from this angle, it is looking quite good. I've still got the lights to do up in the towers. Oops, a bit more wool. And obviously still quite a lot more to do here. Okay, so I had to cut that clip out there. I don't know what happened, but let's just fly up here, we can have a look. But for some reason it only picked up half of my my talking, and that last one my mic must have been a little bit uneven, but you can see here how much we've got left to do. So it is, oops, it's about half of the wall left to do, but this section down this side is pretty flat, so it's not quite as difficult. The difficult part to do right now is here, this next section. Oops. So you can see I've got the wall done here. It's a little bit further over than the original wall was, so I still need to destroy that original wall. But if we can get out here, this section here where it goes over the hill is where it's going to be difficult, because it does go all the way up like that. So I might need to flatten that a little bit. I probably will. So I think I'm going to do it maybe to this level here and just leave it so it goes up to, or yeah, like that, and then cut it off at this level and flatten the whole thing there. So let's get rid of a load of this, because if I don't mark it out now, I'll forget later. So if I make a mess out of it, at least then I remember to do that when I get to it, what height I want. Now the bridge I'm going to leave as it is, same as the other one. Just got to figure out how to connect this to the wall, or possibly put a tower on each side. Probably have to remove a few of these mushrooms as well. Then we're going to have a small wall here, a tower, one of the big towers up there, and then this is another section that needs to be flattened. Now it's not quite as high as the other one, so maybe just take 2 layers off. Maybe that will be enough. We'll see when we get around to it. So I've got to flatten this here, and then bring the wall up and across here. Take this all the way across and we can see. This next section is where it gets difficult, because this is this tower thing, it's not much at the minute, but it's going to be part of the storage room. and I can't move the position it's in, otherwise my idea won't work. It needs to be a certain amount of blocks away, because this tower is going to go up really quite high, probably the tallest part of the whole storage room, and it will have lava pouring off it, which goes all the way down the tower from the top, and it also pours down off the edge of it, like down here, and then to a pool on the top of that, and the whole top of the storage room will have like a lava pool on it, so it needs to be a certain distance. So when I get to the wall here, I might connect it to that tower and then continue it on the other side properly, but I need to get this finished now, so I'm gonna get a little bit more work done. Okay, so I got a bit more done. I'm just running around now to check what I've already done so far, because I've had a look at some of the videos I've done already, and the video's starting to get a little bit long now, so I'm having to rush a little bit to get this done. Don't want to make too big a jump cut, but probably going to have to just do the last section off camera and just get it finished. We've got the small towers with the sea lanterns in now. Instead, I've removed that blue wall that I put in and just replaced them with the sea lanterns. Then this section here is where it goes over. Now, because they can't get through from the bottom, we need a way. Let's just put a hole in here. I need a way to get from down there, so if I want to walk along the wall, I can get over these bridges. I've got no ladders with me, so let's just grab some ladders from here. Let's just make sure we've got plenty. I'll probably use each of those big towers and add ladders in as well, because all the smaller towers have got a ladder in already, so I think I might do the same to the big towers as well. Let's just get down and put that one on. So each side of these bridges needs to be a ladder to get from the top to the bottom. I mean, I could make, let's do that spot. I could make a way to get through on the inside, but I think it'll be a bit more difficult. There's not much space on the inside of them bridges, well, archways, not really a bridge. We've got some more wool here to need to replace. And then once I've ran all the way along and checked everything, then I can get the last section done, and hopefully get the whole thing finished today. Oh, we've got a few sections that I've not fixed properly. Tried to make them from the floor below. You sometimes get it in the wrong place. Oh, this goes up a hill, that's why. How can I have this? Let's use the cobblestone steps that way. That should work, because it's still cobblestone like the rest of it. That needed a sea lantern in as well. So I'm going to finish running along here and then jump on for the last couple of hours and get the rest of the wall finished, and then we can have a fly around and have a run around and have a look at the whole thing when it is actually done and finally complete. Okay, so I got the wall complete. I'm just coming in to fix my tools. They're all mended. And then I can show you. This thing's quite cool. Ogle built it, who's the dude I'm sharing my base with. And I can't really see back there. But yeah, on the server we've got a plugin where when we've got levels, you can just click on what's it called? Enchantment table, and fill the bottles with those bottles of enchantment with your XP. So you've got these just use this up. So you got these bottle of enchanting, and then he's just built a mending machine for us to mend our tools, because quite regularly we end up with loads of levels. Instead of just stocking them up, every time one of us logs off, we just fill it up. So we've got quite a big backup now, but as you can see, we have got the wall finished. Finally, all the way around, it is done. So let's just have a fly around. We can get up enough to see the whole thing is complete. This section is a little bit wider, so I was tempted to change it, but we have a few sections that are a bit wider, so I think it looks okay. Ooh. Why is it not? Something wrong with my keyboard or something today. It's not flying very easily. When I press space, it doesn't seem to work. But anyway, you can see it's actually looking pretty cool now. It's looking so much better than what we had before. So actually looking like a proper fort now. So we've got all the towers. We can walk around on the top and the bottom. Hopefully it will look good at night time when it's all lit up, because every tower has got sea lanterns in now, so it will all glow when it is dark. So it is looking pretty cool. So the only thing left for me to do with the wall is to edit the archways, but it looks... I might just leave them as they are, because there's so much stone brick in this. It fits in perfectly fine now. I just changed the bottom layer to andesite, just like the rest. As you can see, it's andesite all the way around and across the bottom. It actually looks pretty good. I don't think I really need to do anything to the archways. I might play around with it, but I'm not quite sure just yet. But this episode is now getting quite long, so I am running out of time. So I think I'm going to end this episode there. Try and sort out my storage, figure out how much resources I've used, because I think most of my bulk storage is now empty, or quite a lot of it. I know I've emptied at least 2 or 3 double chests of smooth stone, and I've not really got much andesite left either. I had to go mining for some earlier on, but that is the wall complete and done. So thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you did like the video, and as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you guys next time.